Hi, it's Dr. J here. In this video, I will outline how to approach studying for physics, particularly in upper school. So here are some general points to start with. The key to success in physics is to practice problem solving. There is almost no memorization required. Also, a little bit of study often is better than doing long hour-long blocks or 2-hour-long blocks at the end of the week or the night before a test. An important thing to realise about physics is it takes time to process ideas, and so if you do a little bit of revision every single night, it'll give your brain a chance to understand what you're being told. The hardest part about problem solving is actually getting started. What do I write on the piece of paper? So you need to practice in order to get better and to stop feeling afraid and intimidated by those problems. I also recommend having a special notebook or a file with lined paper, and that's the way I prefer to do it, to write your summary notes, more about this later, and to complete your problem sets. Use all the room you need to set out your problems correctly. Don't take shortcuts. And this notebook will also act as your revision notes for an assessment. Another point that I think is important is to keep a page at the front of your file or your notebook and write down all the queries that you have as you have them, so that they're all in one place so that you can ask your teacher or your classmate. And keep in mind that every physics problem that you see in a test is a version of something you've seen before. It's just a matter of knowing what type of problem it is. So as I said before, the key to succeeding in physics study is all about problem solving, and a little bit every day is best. So what should you do in your daily routine? Well, I think that for every subject that you study at school on any given day, you should try to complete 30 minutes per subject per night, and that includes physics. So this is just suggested time for upper school, and it would be less if you were in some of the lower years. So what should you do during this time? Well, I think you should read through the lesson for that day and then write very brief summary notes about the important points. So it might be the equation, or it might be a piece of information that needs to be memorized. These need to be really brief. You are not rewriting the class notes. Then attempt 2 or 3 problems from the chapter problems and try these without using your notes. Choose one easy, one medium, and one hard, and make sure you set it out properly. Check the answers once you've completed the problem. If it's correct, put a tick next to the problem on the problem sheet so that you know that you were able to do it and that you've actually done it. And put a little cross or a star next to the ones that you didn't get correct or that you needed to consult your notes or consult a teacher for some help. You know that you need to do that again. If you're having difficulty with a problem, spend no more than 10 minutes on it, very maximum, before moving on to another question, and ensure that you follow up on that with either your teacher or a friend in your class. Try and do this as soon as possible. The next day would be best. Make sure that you cover all of your subjects for the day in your study time. Don't favour one subject over another. Okay, so by the end of the week, you'll probably have a whole heap of problems that you haven't done. So you'll have all these incomplete problem sets. So before the start of the next school week, you need to ensure that your summary notes are up to date. Remember, these should be pretty brief, not a rewrite of the class notes. At the end of a topic, it should probably only have maybe 4 or 5 pages of summary notes. Make sure that you complete any problem sets. So there's going to be all these incomplete problem sets that you have. Ensure that you complete them and set them out properly. Only do the problems that you haven't yet ticked off. Mark your problem sets. Note down any problem areas. Put a star next to any problems you had to redo or you needed to consult your notes or a teacher or classmates to complete. Now, I know that some weekends you'll be too busy to get all of this work done. If you don't have time to finish all of the problem sets, pick a selection of questions from each set to complete. It's better to do a few from each than to omit a set completely. And finally, on the weekend, you should be revising for any upcoming assessments or complete assignments, etc. These are tasks that need to be done on the weekend and not at the expense of your half-hour daily subject review. Okay, commonly asked questions. What should I do if I have an assessment the next day? Please see the previous slide. Stick to your half-hour routine for each subject. Any extra time that you have that evening can be spent on the assessments or assignments due the next day. How to study for a physics test. Read through all your summary notes. Then attempt a few problems from each of the sets. Pick a variety, so an easy, a medium, and a hard, and make sure you redo the star questions so that you can complete these under assessment conditions. Complete any practice tests that your teacher has given you or that you found on the internet and mark these as if you were your teacher. So what are assessment conditions? Use your formula and constant sheet, pen and calculator only, no laptops, phones, notes, etc. Time yourself. Assume that you're getting 1 mark per minute, so a fairly straightforward, easy question would normally be a 4-mark question and should take 4 minutes. Common mistakes. Leaving study for a test the night before. It sometimes happens, but on the whole, you should be doing your revision a little bit every day and then revision on the weekends. Also, a really big mistake is thinking that you understand how to solve a problem by looking at the worked solutions. You look at the worked solutions and say, oh yeah, I know that, I understand that, and you think that you're all set to go. But this is not the case. You must learn and practice how to start doing a problem on your own. After an assessment, once you've received an assessment back, you may be feeling overjoyed at a better than expected result or disappointed at a lower result than you wanted. Regardless, review your test carefully for the areas that require further consolidation. Update your summary notes if you need to. In your notebook or file, write down 2 or 3 points for improvement. You will be assessed again on the content, usually in an exam, and also reflect on the study methods that worked better for you because it's going to be different for everyone. Also, write down 2 or 3 areas that you did well. It's important to celebrate those areas that you have improved on. Thank you for listening to my video. Remember to subscribe to Dr. J's channel for the latest physics tutorial.